Well, good evening and greetings. Thank you, everyone who's going to tune in, and thank you in advance for tuning in to another Monday night evening of Chit Chat Chew Show podcast, where I am one of the co-hosts, Aisha, affectionately known as Jade, and
the other co-host, Uno,
so
of the Chit Chat Chew Show podcast.
Yes, absolutely. Welcome to another episode again of Chit Chat Chew Show podcast. This evening, we're going to focus on Black History Month. As we know, for February, it is Black History Month. Personally, myself, as well as I like to say for Uno too, Black History Month should be celebrated
every day,
365 days out of the year.
Absolutely.
Okay, but for the sake of conversation, we're going to do a tribute and homage and respect to those,
and just highlight different timelines of things that happened through, just in the melanated nation. Like just just give you some background and history on people, and in honor of Black History Month.
From past to present.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what you're going to get. So we want to dive right into this so that you can get the good content that we're going to have. So this evening, I'm going to speak on a couple, okay? And I'll tell you what their names are shortly, but the caption of this is Meet the Couple Behind New York City's first ever Black-owned professional sports team, okay? Their name is Corey and Tamara Gallaway, or Tamara, however she pronounces it. Tamara Gallaway had always dreamed of having a professional sports team in New York City. Now the power couple themselves have made history by giving New York City its first ever Black-owned sports team. And we have became two of very few African Americans who outright own a professional sports franchise. Isn't that awesome?
That's real dope.
Corey, the founder of New York-based business development and direct investment company called Legacy Growth. Make sure to look that up. Legacy Growth Partners. Together with his wife, has finally brought an arena football league to the county's most populated city. They had to go through a challenging process and buy-ins, and I'm sure that they had to go through a lot of challenges, with the support of trustees, business partners, colleagues, friends, such as football player DeVal Ellis. They were able to make it. So it seems like they had a lot of support, beside them, which is very good, because let's just be honest, being a Black-owned sports professional business out here with all the demands that's out here, I'm sure I can't even imagine what they've gone through. But it's good when you have support right next to you. So as a football fan raised in Brooklyn, Gallaway had to travel far just to see the New York Jets do their practice games at Hempstead, Long Island. He used it as an inspiration to bring the American sport closer to young people for their enjoyment. For me, as a football fan, as a football player, I acknowledge that there is a barrier of entry that's created with ticket pricing. Not everyone is able to really enjoy the game and see the games live and up front. So creating that opportunity and being able to provide them with an option to see a game live. I'm just excited that those kids will be able to enthusiastically say, oh, wow, I'm going to a game, he said in an interview with Essence. So of course we know a lot of kids are not able, again, as he stated, to get out there, see a practice, not only see a practice, but to go to a game. You know, it's cute to see it on TV, I'm sure, for a lot of them, but they really love the experience more.
Yeah.
They want that live experience of going out to go see a real live game. So in April of 2019, the New York Streets, the National Arena League's newest franchise, will take the Westchester County Center in White Plains, New York, as they play their first game there. Aside from that, they will also play 2 of its regular season games at Madison Square Garden in New York City. His wife, Tamara, is very excited about the new venture and looks forward to have an opportunity to help set up other modern day leaders that can come see a couple that is doing something together. Isn't that awesome that this is a power couple? I mean, come on now. Seriously. A Black owner who looks like them and that's doing something to break the mold, she said. Being African American, the couple encountered numerous problems when they were working to bring New York streets to reality. There was a lack of representation. People doubted them, of course, and sometimes they were even asked where their money came from. So typical. Why can't they just work hard and have supporters behind them? But okay.
You know, label them all day.
Label them already.
They're
like
you're with drug dealers or something like that. Or they got it by stealing it from somewhere.
Right. Like they did everything illegal
stereotypical
anyway.
mess they practice, yeah.
And on top of that, yes, I'm going to put it out there, they're Black. That's number one. However, none of those discouraged him from making his visions come true. Gallaway now belongs to a very small group of African Americans who own professional sports franchises. The NFL and the MLB still don't have a franchise owned by African Americans. But Gallaway and his wife hope their recent achievement could pave a way for others too. So if you want more information about the New York Streets football, you can reach them at NY Streets with the S, nystreetsfootball.com. Wasn't, it was short and sweet, but I really commend them because I'm, again, going into that whole sports arena and you're Black, our Black and brown brothers and sisters, it's going to be tremendous.
Yeah.
And so, yes, they're going to go through all type of obstacles from everyone.
Right.
Everyone. Black, even white, everyone. Okay. Family, friends,
well, that's
everyone.
Disappointing though when you have to get it from your own. Be like, the pushback, the opposition.
Right. Well, of course that's is frustrating and challenging because if you're coming out with this great idea and you see that vision and you want your own people to be supportive and they they're not supportive, of course, but when you have your come up, then everybody wants to come around and hey, no, you should have been around me when I was going through my good and now my bad and now I'm at my good.
People only around you when you're something. That's how.
And they feel like it's convenient, like they can hopefully profit or benefit from it as well.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, mm-hmm. But people are so fake, man. People only knows until you use somebody.
Absolutely. So again, if you, this is inspirational to me because this just gives me more of a drive to keep doing what I want to do. Okay. And so I love when I hear, whether we talk about this on our show or not, I love to hear power couples are just, our Black and brown brothers and sisters do things and they have a story and they have their bad and they have their challenging but they still work through it to get to where they need to get to. So that's encouraging for me because we can be quick to be like the oh woe is me, like I've said before. We can get into that negativity really, really quick. The oh me, don't nobody understand me, blah, 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 blah. But as much as we're using our energy to do that blah, 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 we should turn that, to me, and focus on how can we make it better for ourselves. because it's not going to happen overnight. And whoever thinks that it is, I feel like you just living in somebody a la la land.
Yeah.
Like it's not. You're gonna have to work for it, especially because it's your own. You're gonna have to work super hard. Harder. Exactly. You're gonna have to work 3 times harder. So
it's not gonna come easy.
Think 3 times smarter. Like just you gotta get with it, okay? And you're gonna have to learn to go through those good, bad, and indifferent challenges.
Well, I'll tell you what, once you reach that pinnacle, you appreciate it.
You appreciate it, and it's gonna be so well worth it. The benefits and the blessings are gonna be so abundant. So yeah, absolutely. So welcome to Corey. Much
that's awesome, man.
Awesome, much blessings and wishes to Corey and his wife Tamara.
Definitely positive vibes, but we do need more sports leagues that are black owned.
We
need a multiplicity of black owned sports companies. You know what I'm saying? Because the climate of what the sports arena is going through now is a big indication that we need to support each other. We need to have access to a lot of things. Of course, me and Jada has talked about in the medical arena. We talked about in the economical arena, the living arena, living like just, house, apartment, shelter, whatever. But also in the sports arena too, like
absolutely,
there needs to be opportunities created, and then that way we have control of our destiny instead of someone else controlling our destiny. And that gives them leverage over us because they make the rules and they have the power to move things within not only the sports arena system, but controlling you too, like moving parts of you, and you have to do everything they tell you to do, and you're compromising your life. You know what I'm saying? Like you can lose your money, you can lose your career, and I mean that's no way to live. That's like sports is you're a slave. That's what sports is. You're a slave, especially if it was all the black men that's in basketball and football. They're slaves to these white establishments, and a lot of them are ran by old men, old white racist men. So to combat that, we have to create our own platforms, our own value, our own companies, our own everything. Everything has to be supplied by us in order for us to thrive in this competitive racist society.
Yes, absolutely. And in addition to what Uno said, I also feel like, for those of us that work for corporate America, the 9 to 5, or get your 30 to 40 plus hours in. What about if we lose those jobs today? What do you have to fall back on? Let's be honest.
Can you come to your people and get a job?
Right.
Can you sustain yourself?
Right.
So that's a definite no.
No.
Definite no.
No. And I feel like we should put ourselves into a position where we can work for ourselves, even if it's, work at home or start a little small business where we can have another stream of income, because these jobs are not promised to us.
No.
They're not.
Never.
And I say that for myself. I work 40 hours a week for corporate America, and then still have to run, co-run our business together, plus working on my own public speaking and just different avenues. So you want to be able to have something set up for yourself if a job just falls, or if that company just falls or collapses, right, to have something to fall back on, because you can't always rely on family. And those pensions and 401ks,
that's not a promise.
That's not a promise either. Most of it you're gonna lose.
Yeah, if you quit that job, you're gonna lose. If you leave that job, you don't see none of that money. Oh, 401k.
Exactly.
So that means the company just made all that money off you. You're a body. You're a commodity. You're a commodity to these companies, so they make money off of you.
Right. That's why you have to do your due diligence. If you're working, ask all those questions when it comes to your benefits and what you're entitled to, and them what ifs. Because you can't say, oh, I'm going to have this job 30, 40, 50. No.
It could be in 1 year you only have
6 months, 1 year, 3 months.
Right.
Who knows? So definitely.
I agree. So, absolutely. Yeah. All right, so get on to the next one. That's going to be exciting to talk about. Like,
absolutely.
I love talking about Black history.
I love it. We are hashtag researchers.
Political science and intellectual science and esoteric science, like all of it is interesting to me. So now, as far as honoring Black History Month, we're about to highlight, which I'm going to discuss now, the history of Black Wall Street. Because we just got through talking about having our own and building our own and depending on each other, where we can help each other. We can benefit each other. We don't have to be a slave to somebody else.
Right.
We have the power in our hands. So this is definitely fitting for right now in the moment, the history of Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street has a special place in American history as a platform that paved the way for Black communities and businesses to thrive. Not too long ago, Black men and women were not allowed to own property. We faced violence and freedom restrictions, such as being stripped of the right to vote, and endured other forms of racial segregation and race-based legislation. Despite this, a sense of community and faith bloomed among Black neighborhoods where isolation and segregation was the norm. Black people gave each other a place for community, safety, and economic support. 100 years later, Black communities were thriving and economic strength was established. A perfect example of this progress was Black Wall Street, located in the Greenwood neighborhood of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And by the way, Oklahoma wasn't the only place that had a Black Wall Street, so let's keep that in mind, because St. Louis was another place that had a boom in economical structure far as the Black community and others too. All right, so Black Wall Street was a thriving community in Greenwood in the early 1900s. This was a community that had bustling Black-owned businesses, theaters, schools, social health, and a strong distribution of wealth among its middle and upper classes. Reports estimate the community had more than 10,000 African American residents, and most of them were thriving. Black Wall Street was the epitome of a self-sustaining community and strength. Black people supported each other, which allowed for easy access to resources, savings, housing, jobs, education, and health. Black Wall Street was just one of many thriving communities in the United States, but it also became a site that would serve as an example of the violence and hatred that grew out of greed from white financial interests. And see, that's what I was saying about this control and power, and that's what they want to do to us. But at the same time, having it in our hands, and this is what Black Wall Street did, because the white establishment knew they didn't have no control no more. So their only way of dealing with that is through violence, obviously here in hatred. So as Black Wall Street thrived and grew, so did greed in oil-thirsty America. In 1897, just a few years before Black Wall Street was established, Oklahoma got its first oil well. While this discovery is praised for establishing economic wealth and stability in Oklahoma during the Great Depression, it attracted scores of exploration companies in the 1920s. This oil discovery gave Black people the economic opportunity they needed. We weren't allowed to shop at white-owned stores and businesses, so the money we spent went right back into our communities. Oil gave rise to opportunities and economic freedoms for Black people despite Oklahoma's status as a segregated state. As you can imagine, envy and jealousy thrived, of course. Anything we do as a people are jealous and are full of hatred. What's new?
Right. Yeah. That's a given.
Right. The thought of second-class citizens receiving better economic opportunities than their white neighbors. Boy, the white man don't want to feel under nobody. They want to always be superior because they have a complex. You can tell they have low self-esteem. You can tell they feel inferior. Just how they act, their actions. Where are we at? Okay. I want to read that again, though. The thought of second-class citizens receiving better economic opportunities than their white neighbors infuriated white Oklahoma residents. They retaliated against the black community, spreading hatred and accusing them of crimes. Many white people were full of loathing and wanted to bring black communities down. An accusation of sexual assault was the match that ignited the smoldering hatred and resentment of the thriving Black Wall Street community. The accusation inspired a lynch mob, which included nearly 2,000 Ku Klux Klan members who wanted to get justice. Everything came crashing down on Black Wall Street on May 31st, 1921. In just 16 hours, police had arrested 60% of black residents living in Black Wall Street. Mobs burnt black-owned businesses and homes and murdered hundreds of black citizens. When black men joined forces to protect their homes, they were ultimately driven out in fear for their lives. By today's estimates, the dreadful and murderous 16 hours caused more than $30 million in damages. The residents of Greenwood were blamed for the death and destruction, and the government made it nearly impossible to rebuild. But we can rebuild a new Black Wall Street now by working together. And we can be actually stronger than ever. Actually, we have the power already. The massacre at Black Wall Street was one of the largest massacres of black citizens in America. It is important not to forget the pride and opportunity that Black Wall Street awarded African Americans. We worked hard, built a strong community, and supported each other. Circulating black dollars within our community and doing business with one another is critical for our community's financial and economic strength. We have a need for that today, which is why One United Bank is supporting the Bank Black movement. That's a hashtag. Bank Black movement. Banking Black gives citizens more opportunities than they would have anywhere else, and it puts our hard-earned dollars back where they belong, in the black community, so we can build a new Black Wall Street. We owe it to our ancestors who lost their lives and community that day. Black Wall Street gave us the drive and the power to our own financial institutions, and I feel like financial and economical faith too, and allow black citizens to invest in each other. We at One United can make that happen again. Hashtag Bank Black. So a few points I'd like to point out in this article here. Isolation and segregation. I feel like that is the best thing that happened to us, honestly. I feel like even today that's what we need. We need to be isolated and segregated from everybody. Why I say that? Because we was better off doing our own thing and creating power within our own community. Not relying or being dependent on another source, another life source in society. We was able to have self-pride. We was able to have self-worth. We was able to have a thinking of, loving yourself and love your own, as well as support each other, as well as help each other, well as invest in each other and have confidence in each other. And with that, that's what created Black Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? But okay, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with, because look, as beings, we all gonna encounter people in all walks of life, no matter what race. I know all that, of course. Of course, we're gonna be all sorts of people. That's a given. That's life. But when we desegregated and became not isolated, look how far we gotten with that. We have no kind of structure within our community whatsoever. It's a bunch of chaos. I'm gonna give an example of this. We need to talk about this on the show anyway. With this whole Gucci controversy, right? I don't know if you heard about it. Gucci had some modeling event or something, or some advertising where the white woman had the black face mask on. Mm-hmm. Now, black, not just the celebrities, the black celebrities supported it and advertised it and highlighted it so much. But even the regular folk was supporting Gucci, right? But look what happens when We wasn't supporting our own and supporting them. Look what happened. This situation goes down of blatant racism in your face. They don't like you. They obviously don't, because they just, have a white model go out there and put on a blackface. But that wouldn't have happened if our people have self-pride and self-love and have pride for their people and have self-love. Have love for their people and believe in supporting each other and helping each other and not helping other people. That don't mean you're racist. That just means you love your people first.
Right. And absolutely. And you're supporting your people.
I feel like there's nothing wrong with it. That's not racist. I don't see that as racist, but okay. But with that going down, of not supporting your own, all these black businesses that have quality stuff that I've seen. I'm talking about, I'm just going to speak on this one area as far as brands, high-end clothing brands. Had they just promoted and advertised and worn and gave the black-owned businesses that support as way much as they gave all these racist high-end ass companies like Gucci and Prada and Balenciaga and Fendi and all that, none of this wouldn't have happened in the first place. Because we actually leaving ourselves vulnerable and as targets to be taken advantage of, period. Because who's making the money off of us? We're not seeing none of the proceeds from Gucci. When we go buy the stuff, where does that money go? Right into Gucci's pockets. Does that circulate back into our community? No, it does not. We can't even keep no dollars in our community. It goes out of our community within 3 to 6 hours. And that's not a long time. That is not a long time. That's like an instant compared to like a week, 3 days to a week to 2 weeks. Because every other community practices group economics. They keep their money within their own. And you don't really hear much about situations they go through. Not to say they don't go through racism, but you don't hear it as much because they keep themselves grounded. They know what their purpose is, and they know they have to have self-preservation. They know the things they need to do in order not to be compromised. And a lot of times we allow ourselves to be compromised way too much because we're not getting into the mindset of owning owning us, not someone owning us, controlling us, being in power. And the history of Black Wall Street taught us that we own us. Although there was a setback, doesn't mean the fight was over, but it's just like, and another thing our people do, we give up too fast.
Yes.
If we get knocked down like, oh man, it's all over, man. It ain't gonna never happen again. You already putting that energy out there.
Putting that energy out there, right. That is never ever going to happen again.
Right, that you really blocking yourself.
We lost our way.
We did.
We lost our way, a lot of us. And you're so right about that, because people, we will, and I'm speaking in general, we will go out there and spend $200, $300, $400, $500 for a belt or a wallet or a pocketbook, or a pair of shoes that are Gucci, Fendi, the name brands that you said that are predominantly, most of them or the majority of them are owned by white people, right? And then you're stuck. You're stuck and you can't pay your rent or your mortgage or your responsibilities, right? Go get that weave and them nails done and all that good stuff.
But why you can't invest in
why don't you go and invest into your own community that has just as good, if not better, quality of things? What you'll say is, oh, their belt, a pocketbook, or their clothing, or whatever they're selling is too expensive, and we can't afford this, and we family, and can't you knock it down? No, why? Just because it's not a Gucci? I'm not saying that everything that someone is selling or whatever their product or service is that you're going to buy. But wouldn't it be nice to have something? Wouldn't it be nice to have a one of a kind? Because that Gucci and stuff, is it really real? Right. Seriously, is it really real?
Honestly, everybody's wearing it.
Everybody's wearing it. When you go into these malls and buy it, is it really real?
Is it?
Is it?
They can sell you anything. I'm just saying, it's all about marketing.
Right.
You know.
Is it? Like, seriously.
I'm just saying, you're right. That's a good point you bring up. Is it? You know.
You have a lot of these Black-owned that makes one-of-a-kind pieces.
I see it all the time. So
and I see it all the time.
Because I know what excuses y'all going to come up with. I see it all the time.
I have one-of-a-kind, a lot of pieces, good quality, affordable, and it's mine. It's mine. No one else has it. Like, I go out here. We've been out to festivals and other places that we've been to. I've certainly supported a lot of Black-owned businesses when the weather is nice and they're out here, with their vendors and things like that. And I mean, these people got to thrive and survive as well. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them make one-of-a-kind pieces that I have that nobody else doesn't have. Mm-hmm. And I don't mind spending the money. I don't mind.
Like, the price is not the matter. Like, that's not the issue for me. It's just like it's not the issue for you. Like, that's.
I mean, I'm not balling. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, if I have the good fortune, I will support. Yes, and I see the value because nobody else has it. Mm-hmm. Or even if it is a duplicate. But I just want to buy from my own Black and white brothers and sisters in their business. I will do that. But so many of us get caught up because it doesn't have that. Oh, it's Gucci. Oh, it's Michael Kors. Oh, it's Polo. Oh, it's this, that, and the third. And I'm not dictating to you. I'm not dictating to you what you should buy. I'm just saying, wouldn't it be nice if you support your people as well?
Yeah. That's great. We have just as good stuff or better than these white end clothing brands.
And stop trying to dummy down people. I mean, I'd rather if you don't have it at that time, then just don't. And then, I don't know, most of them have cards. You can take it. When you do have something, you can purchase online. Like, y'all purchase online for every other business.
Yeah, sure.
Why can't y'all purchase online? You know what
I'm saying? They blow their rent money.
They will blow their rent money on that Gucci and that Fendi and Michael Kors. What's that other one? Burberry and all and all that. They will do that. And then what? You'll wind up, like you said, or I said, your mortgage and your rent is due. That water due. That electric or gas is due. That car note need to be paid, or that car insurance. Hell, you got to do something for your kids that you can't do now.
Right. But the Black-owned businesses, it's not like their stuff is super expensive. It's affordable. No. So really, if you just invested in their business, you can save money and pay your rent or whatever. I just think we have to be smart. We're not smart financially.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of us are smart.
That's obvious.
I don't think a lot of us are smart.
Yeah.
And we don't see the value in us, but we'll complain about how other people treat us. But we're doing the same thing.
That's true.
We're doing the same thing.
That's true. Yeah. But I mean, we can make excuses all day, but come on, y'all, we gotta do it. Cause no one owes us shit. All right, no one don't. They don't have to look out for us. They don't have to help us. They don't have to do nothing for us. We have to do for ourselves. We're responsible for ourselves. Is what I'm saying. The Creator put us here as beings. Or okay, I'm gonna speak on a human level of everybody. Every human is responsible for themselves, right? Now I'm gonna get into the racial thing. So when it comes to Black people, if we're responsible for ourselves as a being, that means we're responsible for ourselves, no one else, right? So that's the mindset we need to have. We need to put life into our own hands because no one will and shouldn't have to and really don't need to. Why? Why are we dependent on everybody else? What would that make you look like? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know we all need help, but still, like, you got to get out of this mindset of not, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Like, how is that helping us, though? With that same mentality, I understand everybody's not going to support Black, that's great, all right, whatever. But, so then you can't complain when you buy it and then something racist happens. You can't have it both ways now. So really, if you support it, then shut the fuck up because You're not out here supporting any Black-owned business. So whatever racist issue happens, you really can't say nothing because you're out there supporting it. So if you don't want to support Black business, you should be able to take the backlash that white people give you. You can't have it both ways. You can't be upset and still support it now.
In addition, agreed. In addition, yes. And for the brothers and sisters that are opening up Black-owned businesses, I definitely commend you. There's Black-owned business directories that you can join for free and be able to network with other Black-owned businesses. Of course, see what other Black-owned businesses there is that you want to support. So that's not an excuse. There's no way that we shouldn't, as a community, not saying it's happening overnight, but there's no way that, why can't we have more transportation businesses, schools, recreational centers,
hospitals. That's the major thing.
Hospitals and clinics.
Because a lot of people are sick. We need hospitals. Right. Seriously.
Healthier supermarkets.
That's definitely a critical thing we need.
Daycare facilities or childcare facilities. More Black-owned nail salons and
how about all these chicks in the hood or just Black women in general that do hair? We always going to the other people to do our hair, the Africans, right? We going to them to do hair.
I know there's sisters that braid hair.
There's a lot of them. Come on. Plenty. In our hoods, man, I mean,
there's plenty of sisters that doing
their homegirls' hair.
Perfect example. We were out yesterday, and I was laughing because there was a Black sister who was outside who was doing another Black sister's hair.
See, but she could start somewhere.
She could start somewhere. Maybe funny if it was funny, but I mean, I definitely like.
If she got the backing though,
right? If she got the backing, she could from our people. Right. Okay, she could have a building.
Her hair salon.
Have her own hair salon. She's starting somewhere. Well, I'm sure a lot of people have started on their porch, okay, or on their step, in their bedroom, in a room, doing what they need to do to get to where they need to get. That's what it's all about. You have to learn how to practice patience because it's not going to happen overnight. You have to build up. You have to network. You have to have people believe in. You have to, okay, for a better word, convince people or sell people on how your product stands out so that they can financially back you. Yeah. And if they say no and that door closes, okay.
That's all right.
You can go do it again.
Keep on
doing again. Like
fighting.
Just keep going. Don't get pissed off, right? And I used to be guilty of it. I can be transparent. I used to be guilty of it. I go to the Asian place, get me them 4 wings and them French fries. Girl, thing used to be good, right? They talking about us like a dog in their language, yet smiling in our faces, okay? You're complaining, but yet you're still supporting going out, buying their food. Or even the Indians, they had the supermarkets around the urban or the hood area, right? You going in there, it stinks or whatever, the prices are sky high, right? You're complaining. But we don't have that in our own neighborhood.
We have our own restaurants.
We can have our own restaurants and our own fresh supermarkets and
have a good chicken and fries.
Have our own. Give it an option for those who eat meat, fine. For those that are vegan, or you can specifically do your own vegan place as
we
well.
Got a lot of vegan spots too. You know, we have vegan spots in Atlanta, but I think we need a lot more.
Vegan spots, vegan mobiles. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's mobile now. Food trucks, very big here in Atlanta.
Absolutely.
Or in the South in general. So it's very, very, so there's options on doing things. You just have to, again, have patience and you have to do your research. You just can't click your heels like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz and think like, oh, I want to go, want to go home. No, it's not going to happen. That's fake. This is reality. And if you want something, you're going to have to work for it in order to get it.
We owe this, at the end of the day, we do owe this to our ancestors, who sacrificed their life for us to be in the position we're in now.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Much respect.
I mean, I just feel like we're doing a disservice to them and not carrying out their mission. And that's on anything. It don't have to be just economics. It could be social, politics, health. You know, there's certain names in the community, like in Black history, that as far as help that our Black people have done to help our people. Like, it's just a lot that we do a disservice to. It's like, you know, we spit in their face. It's like they did it for nothing. It's kind of like, what was the point? We're not carrying the torch.
Right.
We supposed to be 4 or 5 times better than them.
Absolutely. And then they're so big on, and I know some people's going to be upset. Oh well. So it's so important also, like me and Uno have talked about, off and on, I'm sorry, in regards to voting. Now, I get that our ancestors before us, those that have voted to pave the way, and that's much respect. But there also are ancestors back then that did not vote and still paved the way and fought
to have your right to not vote.
To have your, exactly. Thank you. So stop.
Right. Sound ridiculous.
Stop. So yes.
No, I agree with you. Absolutely, man. I agree.
Gosh, like
see the actioners a little bit, Yeah, you had to bring that up real quick, huh?
Yeah, because they talk about that a lot at my job.
Oh, that's why.
And it's just like it you know, our ancestors did both. And they both were heroic.
I feel, yeah.
And what they did, vote or not vote. And then, okay, for those that vote, right? Okay, so you vote, and let's just, for the sake of conversation, you get in. Who you voted for gets in. Most of y'all done with it. The hype is over.
Yes, true.
You need to hold these people, like we've said before. You need to hold these politicians accountable. You get them in, and you need to hold them accountable. You were rah-rah and all that while it was, you know.
Yeah, at the same time.
Right.
Down on other people for not doing what you're doing. So, yeah, like you said, they vote. Now what? Like, you hold, like, the politicians in there, now what are we doing?
What are you doing? What are you doing with them? And I'm not saying that's everybody.
And they need to take it into their own hands too. Like the voters, they need to take accountability too.
Right.
Not just the politician.
Hold them accountable, yes, but like you said, hold your own self accountable as well. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do in your community to improve it?
That's true.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else on that?
No, that's it. It's been interesting.
Yes, very interesting. Yeah. Black Wall Street. Yes. Yeah,
man.
Absolutely.
But on a spiritual level, it's not going to happen. On a spiritual level, because we have to transcend beyond this plane now. Well, we already done what we had to do here. Now it's time to move on to something else on a spiritual level, but people won't understand that conversation. That's a whole nother topic. But go ahead. Everything, I'm just saying everything happens for a reason. That's why I'm saying that. Like all this stuff, this timeline of Black history, it's happened for a reason. But what is our next purpose? What do we have to do now? Moving beyond the physical and going into the spiritual. That's the lesson in it. That's why we're suffering so much.
Yes. Yes. And spiritual doesn't just mean Christian, Islam, Jehovah's Witness, Buddhism, or spiritual. That's such a broad range.
Define that though.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It's broad. Yeah. It's a lot that covers a lot of context.
So the next topic is, so we spoke about Corey and Tamara Gallaway being one of the first Black-owned professionals in the sports arena.
Absolutely.
Then we spoke about the history of Black Wall Street and what all that has.
Right, right.
And so next, I'm going to put a name out there before I start speaking about him. Paul Laurence Dunbar. Paul Laurence Dunbar. Does anyone know who Paul Laurence Dunbar is?
I believe not. I doubt it.
So he was born in 1872 and transitioned, I don't like to say die, and transitioned in 1906, okay? Paul Laurence Dunbar. Let's find out who he is. Paul Laurence Dunbar was born on June 27th, 1872, to freed slaves from Kentucky. He became one of the first influential Black poets in American literature and was internationally acclaimed for his dialectic verse in collections such as Majors and Minors, which was in 1895, and Lyrics of a Lowly Life, 1896. But that dialectic poems constitute only a small portion of Dunbar's canon, which is replete with novels, short stories, essays, and many poems in standard English. In its entirety, Dunbar's literary body is regarded as an impressive representation of Black life in turn of the century's America. As Dunbar's friend James Weldon Johnson noted in the preface to his book of American poetry, I quote, Paul Laurence Dunbar stands out as the first poet from the Negro race in the United States to show a combined mastery over poetic material and poetic technique to reveal innate literary distinction in what he wrote, and to maintain a high level of performance. He was the first to He was the first to rise to a height from which he could take a perspective view of his own race. He was the first to see objectively its humor, its superstitions, its shortcomings, the first to feel sympathetically its heart wounds, its yearnings, its aspirations, and to voice them all in a purely literary form. Dunbar began showing literary promise while still in high school in Dayton, Ohio, where he lived with his widowed mother. The only African American in his class, he became class president and class poet. And by 1889, 2 years before he graduated, he had already published poems in the Dayton Herald and worked as editor of the short-lived Dayton Tatler, a Black newspaper published by classmate Orville Wright, who later gained fame with brother Wilbur Wright as inventors of the airplane.
All right.
Okay. Orville Wright and his brother Wilbur Wright. They were the inventors of the airplane.
You know, a lot of our brothers and sisters were inventors of things in the 17 and 1800s.
Absolutely.
In the early 1900s that they don't get credit for. Because mind you, they didn't have a lot of rights then as the Europeans did. They had all of the power, control, and enforce a lot of laws and control the laws where they could own everything. And claiming as theirs all that they created.
Right. So Dunbar aspired to a career in law, but his mother's financial situation precluded his university education. He consequently sought employment with various Dayton businesses, including a newspaper, only to be rejected because of his race. He finally settled for work as an elevator operator, a job that allowed him time to continue writing. At this time, Dunbar produced articles, short stories, and poems. including several in the dialect style that later earned him fame. In 1892, Dunbar was invited by one of his former teachers to address the Western Association of Writers, then convening in Dayton. At the meeting, Dunbar befriended James Newton Matthews, who subsequently praised Dunbar's work in a letter to an Illinois newspaper. Matthews' letter was eventually reprinted by newspapers throughout the country, bringing Dunbar recognition outside Dayton. Among the readers of this letter was poet James Whitcomb Riley, who then familiarized himself with Dunbar's work and wrote him a commentary letter. Commentary, letter. Bolstered, tongue-tied. Bolstered by the support of both Matthews and Riley, Dunbar decided to publish a collection of his poems. He obtained additional assistance from Orville Wright and then solicited a Dayton firm, United Brethren Publishing, that eventually printed the work entitled Oak and Ivy, which was back in 1893 for a modest sum. In Oak and Ivy, Dunbar included his earliest dialect poems and many works in standard English. Among the latter is one of his most popular poems entitled Sympathy, in which he expresses in somber tone the plight of Black people in American society. In another standard English poem, Ode to Ethiopia, he records the many accomplishments of Black Americans. The popularity of these and other poems inspired Dunbar to devote himself more fully to writing. Let me say.
They have a lot of history on them, I see.
You're going to enjoy this article.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh my. Okay. So I just want to, because it is a lot.
It is, y'all. It's hell of a lot.
All right now.
I mean, I love it.
I love it.
Love a lot of rich history there.
So I'm going to read the last portion of this, but there's certainly a lot for you guys. Hopefully you will take the time out, like you take the time out to look at everything else and do everything else. Just take a little time out for your Black history. So in the years immediately following his death, okay, Dunbar's standing as America's foremost Black poet seemed assured, and his dialect poems were praised or prized as supreme achievements in African American literature. In the ensuing decades, however, his reputation was damaged by scholars questioning the validity, excuse me, I am so tongue-tied with the words, validity of his often stereotypic characterizations and his apparent unwillingness to sustain an anti-racist stance. More recently, Dunbar's stature has increased markedly. He is once again regarded as America's first great Black poet, and his standard English poems are now prized as some of his greatest achievements in verse. So contemporary champions include Addison Gale Jr., whose Oak and Ivy, a biography of Paul Laurence Dunbar, is considered a key contribution to Dunbar's studies, and Nikki Giovanni, whose prose contribution to A Singer in the Dawn, reinterpretations of Paul Laurence Dunbar, edited by J. Martin, hails Dunbar as a natural resource of our people. For Giovanni, as for other Dunbar scholars, his work constitutes both a history and a celebration of Black life. There is no poet, Black or non-Black, Who measures his achievement, she declares, which that's Nikki Giovanni. She declares that. Even today, he wanted to be a writer and he wrote. So again, there's a wealth of information in between what I did not, because it is a lot, but please do yourself that favor and read up on all
it's very educational.
Read up on all of this Black history. Again, that was.
And if you're a poet, you need to be reading this. If
Definitely.
you're a poet or spoken word artist, this should be your priority to read about Paul Laurence Dunbar. This
Absolutely.
Is in your arena.
Absolutely.
It's good to know your history. As far as that, whatever arena you're in, if you're in the music, you need to know the greats before you. Just like in poetry and spoken word, you need to know about the greats before you.
Absolutely. And once these articles are shared, you can click on them. As I see, there's poems and poets. You have collections. You can listen. You can learn. Visit. They have a poetry magazine. There's just so much that you can knowledge. Okay, cannot get enough of it. So again, this is Paul Laurence Dunbar, born 1872 and transitioned in 1906.
I like the
so
way.
Much respect to him.
Absolutely. I like that better. I like that term better. Transition than saying dead or killed or.
I don't know.
Past or past.
Yeah, I don't know. Call
me thinking more.
Call me a little transition. Special, but I just kind of like the term transition more. And you can use whatever you want, but that's what I'm going to use.
Right. I'm going to start using that a lot more too. I think about it's not kind of fun. That's like saying like how people say luck. I don't believe in luck. I don't like the word. I say fortune or fortunate, depending on the terminology of the time, whether it's past tense or present tense.
Mm-hmm.
Just depends on how I use it, but I don't like saying luck or lucky. So I get it with that too, saying saying dead or death. Like, yeah, that's kind of, yeah.
I know it's just different. I just don't like to say it like that. So yeah, that's just me and my thing, but it's okay.
That's fine. That's
totally fine. Yes, please, again, all of these articles and that we're reading up on individuals or just our history, our Black history. Yeah, just please, like, we are so quick. Why are we so quick with this Real Housewife of Atlanta and love and hip hop? I know people not gonna stand me because that's a thing that people like to watch. And once upon a time, I did.
You got so many reality shows now, you can't keep up.
It's so many reality shows that I really just can't keep up. And again, I'm not telling you to stop because I'm not even here for that. But can you incorporate some Black history? Balance it. Can you balance it?
That's all.
Can you?
You need balance. That's all.
Just balance.
Like, it's okay to get your tea in and laugh and kiki and have your little drama. And that's all.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, make sure you stimulate your mind too. Yeah. That's what you're saying.
Right.
Balance.
Just, yeah.
You can't just walk around being ignorant now. You got to know something. Yeah, I ain't saying that to be mean, but I'm just saying, like, all you know is love and hip hop. So you talk to somebody, all you can talk about is drama shows. That's it. You can't talk about something that can help someone else or help you or help each other or, carry you in life or, can resonate with you in life. Like, something that's inspirational and influential. Like, that's what's important. So I get what you're saying. Don't get me wrong, I be watching my nonsense too. Not no reality shows, but
we watch what we watch, and again, that's cool.
I'm always educating myself.
Exactly.
I'm always learning.
Right. We listen to all different kind of music. I know I do.
It be garbage too.
Right.
Like the music be garbage.
And I get up on I get up on other podcasts or YouTubes or whatever and hear all of it, and we talk our stuff as well, and we have some tea too. But I like balance for me. I can't speak for anybody else. I love balance, and the more that I can learn and find out about our history and our roots and especially where we come from and things like that. It's just which we need to have a show on that. We are all not from Africa.
Oh boy, it's gonna touch some feelings because
we are all not from Africa.
See that one I'm gonna have to prepare for because I want to come prepared for y'all for that. So we're not gonna rush that one.
No, we won't rush it.
We need to have all the tools and resources.
And I'm not being funny. Some of us do, but some of us don't.
A lot of us don't. It's a small portion that do have a lineage to Africa. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not saying nobody does it, but majority of the black people in America have no relation to Africa. I'm sorry. I hate to break the news to you.
I mean, I've even had people at my job that are born and bred from Africa that have told black people, you are not like me. You do not. You do not come from Africa. All of y'all do not come from Africa.
They got offended.
And they got offended.
I'm like, what? How you get offended? I mean, I think they looking at the context of culture and the black, like, dang, you just missing me. We the same. We black and we share a culture. We have a different culture than they do. I mean, yes, we have the same hue of skin. Like we're all different shades though. But at the same time, it doesn't mean we're the same people just because we have somewhat similar shades. That doesn't mean we're the same people. We all come from different tribes. So we can't say your lineage is in Africa. You can't say that.
And you can't always trust those ancestry.coms either when you want to find out about your family tree.
It starts with the blood. That's how you find out what your family tree is.
No, people.
And then getting the knowledge from the elders in the families.
If you have them elders in that family,
you better talk to them.
Start talking to them and record them.
Yep,
record them.
The hell with just listen. You need to record.
Record them. In the untimely event that they transition on, that you have some proof.
Right.
Okay, because if they've already transitioned on, it's not too late. It might be a little bit more challenging, but if they're still alive, those elders,
get some information.
Record them.
Right.
Please do record them.
Because a lot of them know who they are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And they don't say Africa because I don't hear it come out their mouth. And I'm not disrespecting Africa. I'm not taking away from Africa. Africa has beautiful, rich history. However, I'm sorry, black people. Yeah, I mean, we're indigenous aborigines. We are on Turtle Island right now. This is our place, a Mexam. It's not America, it's a Mexam. Turtle Island. We come from different tribes on this land.
They gonna be ticked off, but I love y'all too.
I be seeing how they act on them YouTube conversations when them brothers be dropping that knowledge and giving the real information as far as where we come from and our lineage of where we come from. Boy,
they go into a deep feeling.
The debates and arguments be crazy. I be like, but the proof is there. You can't deny it. That's the thing.
Right.
As much as it hurts and you want to be so attached, but you have to come to realization that just not your home.
Right, because people say, "Oh, I'm from Africa," and as soon as you ask them, "Okay, so what part of Africa? Where's your lineage at?" and they're like,
they don't know.
Well,
no, that's not good enough.
No,
that's not good enough.
No.
And that's how you know you're not from Africa, because you can't pinpoint a landmass of where you from, a location. You have to have location. You can't just say, I'm just from Africa. So you just from all places in Africa. What part of Africa you from? It's like saying you from California. What part of California you from?
Right. Name some streets. You got to come better than that.
Right. It's common sense. Like, if you from Philly.
Jersey, Philly girl over here, I can name it.
Jersey, even Jersey. What part of Jersey are you from? What part of Philly are you from? Same thing. I'm from, Georgia. What part of Georgia am I from? I can't just say I'm from Georgia. What sense does that make? So that's in the same context of letting people know where you from. If you say you from Africa,
Wait a minute. I'm being silly right now.
What?
But wait a minute. What about the ones that be like, well, I'm cheating? Okay, so all y'all.
They choose.
Wait. What? So all of y'all not Cherokee Indian either. Can y'all stop? Oh. Y'all not all Cherokee Indian and Blackfoot Indian. I'm just saying. I'm not being funny.
You gotta have proof though.
But when you're researching for yourself, make sure you really know your history of where you come from.
And there's plenty of.
I'm mixed. I'm mixed. What the hell you mixed with?
Identify. What you mixed with?
Everybody, Latino.
Everybody got high cheekbones. High cheekbones. What the hell, bro? What you talking about?
Everybody is just on this. I'm Indian.
Which
I'm
we are.
Cherokee. Yeah.
But you gotta identify what tribe you're from.
That's where I'm
Don't
trying to
just
get
keep saying Blackfoot and Cherokee.
Right.
Every Black person ain't a Cherokee tribe or from a Blackfoot. Because there's plenty of indigenous Aborigines tribes. There's a list of them.
Yes.
That you could be from.
Yes.
You just don't know. But I have proof. I have paperwork. Damn, I wish I could have brought it tonight so I could show you. I'm from the Cherokee tribe. That is where I'm from. My mom's from the Cherokee tribe. My great-grandmother's from the Cherokee tribe. Well, my mama, my grandmama, and my great-grandmama, they all from the Cherokee tribe. There's no denying that. The proof, I'm not just saying I'm Cherokee.
Wait a minute.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Feel me? Like, that's just... You had me laughing when you said that. Everybody saying they Cherokee or Indian.
Right, because it's more tribes than that. That's
true.
What people need to. That's what people. Can you pinpoint more? Because
how about Yamasees?
Right.
You know, Wichita.
Exactly. And so I know I'm gonna start doing some digging because I know they're gonna be like, well, okay, honey, I can prove mine too. So I have the proof here. I got stuff from my mother's place where she used to stay on my dad's side, on my mom's side, and we're gonna have to do that one day.
Absolutely, gonna have to. Like,
because everybody is black and white. Not saying that you're not, but everybody is black and white. Cherokee. We from Africa.
I got high cheekbones.
High cheekbones. we just something else. And I'm being funny, but I'm being serious as well because you need to really do your research, honestly. Like, really do your research and stop spending all that money on these different sites that tell you what you want to hear.
It's not the truth.
It's not the truth. You really need to take it back. Further than that, like, you need to dig deeper.
And even those ancestry specialists, they already admitted that is falsified. So when you take those tests, it's not true. I hate to break the news to you. I mean, you can look up. You don't have to take my word for it. Just go look it up. They tell you out their own mouth. These are white men telling out their own mouth that they're lying.
Right. Like,
to keep you stuck in Africa. They don't want you to really find out who you are. That says a lot right there. So what does that tell you? You're not from Africa. If they're trying that hard to keep you like focused on Africa, that means there's things missing. There's holes there. There's something they don't want you to discover. That's why they're going through so much trouble to keep you in Africa.
And again, it's not saying that a lot of y'all don't have that history in Africa, but all of us are not.
I'm sorry.
From Africa.
I tell them
we're not. So if you really know your history before we get off, or you listen to this replay, when you listen to this replay, if you truly know with facts, okay, hashtag facts, you know who you are and who your bloodline is. Leave it in a comment. It'll just be so interesting to see where people come from, different places and walks of life.
Right.
That's who we are.
Right. Oh, another thing Black folk need to stop doing. Don't forget this one. We all ain't slaves.
Right.
We didn't come, all of us didn't come from slaves, okay?
Right.
Or you embrace the slavery narrative so much. Come on, stop.
Because just the immediate generation of me, myself, my daughter, and my mother, we don't come from slavery.
No.
And I never heard, like, even my mother's biological mother coming from back from slavery. And I have some pictures of unfortunately they're black and white because that's what they used to do back in the day, a lot of black and white. But listening to my mother, I take on the complexion and my mother takes on the complexion of her mother, who looked like she was white. Okay.
She was a mulatto.
Mulatto. Okay. Right. So I'm going to dig deeper with that as well because I want to know more facts because you want to pass it down to your seeds, to your children and their children's children. You should want to know where you come from and just instead of just saying, "Oh, I'm from Africa." Did you know how huge
Africa is?
That Africa
it's a continent. It's not a country. Stop calling it a country.
Right. It's a continent. You know how huge that continent is. And you're not just Cherokee and Blackfoot. There's a whole plethora of tribes out there. Embrace that.
Absolutely.
Embrace that. Okay, if you're not Latino or Italian, okay, that's fine. Embrace
it's not that deep.
Who you are. Right. It's beautiful.
Right. Yeah, so they want to be us anyway. So I mean, why you want to be Mexican and Italian? Hell, I mean, the original times were black. So what are you saying?
I mean, not to say if you have it in you, you have it in you. That's fine.
I mean, if you do, you do. Okay.
But embrace who you are.
I'm just saying, don't be ashamed of who you are.
Please don't.
Because if anything, the world wants to be us anyway.
Please, we women, we are full lips, nose,
big butts. That's how a black woman do.
We black women, we brown,
big noses, and
brown and black women of all shades are beautiful. Please stop hating on. I love before you go on to yours. I love
this conversation.
I love to see the more melanated, the beautiful to me.
But it seemed to be whitewashed or degraded. I noticed that a lot in our community that we disrespect each other.
Yeah,
and really people are really hating who they are. Like there's nothing wrong with dark skin at all.
Nothing. We don't need to go and bleach our skin and destroy it.
Right. Or see, and that's another thing. Black women and black men allowing each other to destroy, like disrespect your own skin, like saying that it's not beautiful. You'd rather have a lighter person, as your companion because it looks better. The seed it proceeds to be better as it's a bigger stepping stone than having a brown skinned sister or brother or I mean it's just messed up,
And don't come with the foolishness. Well, you light, she brown, okay, and it.
But see, that's where the colorism conversation
comes.
Because the black women get upset about that. Ain't even the black men that go out to light skinned men, But see, that's what I'm saying. This is all set up. See what I'm saying? We falling for the trick.
Falling for the okie doke.
The psychological war has been so inflicted on us that we can't even see a war when it's in our face, and we feeding right into it. Man, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, man. At the end of the day, man, all shades of black is beautiful to me. Far as I'm concerned, I don't give a damn about colorism. I don't entertain colorism. I don't get into who's better than who. I don't care, because we all in the struggle together.
Absolutely.
And I see the value in all shades. All right, so let's cut the crap, okay? Because we got bigger things to worry about. Okay, please cut the crap. I mean, seriously, it's
right.
It's getting out of hand.
Yeah, right. It is. I know it is for me. But yes, that was my fun moment. That was our fun moment.
But I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of time to bring that up.
Oof, boy. So again, that's going back to supporting each other and respecting each other, loving one another. That's what it comes to love. We gotta love each other, man. Because not these are the things that happen.
Absolutely.
Knowledge itself is very important. That's all I'm saying.
Can't express how important that is. Learned people.
Oh, and another thing, since you bringing up no more of this and that, black people, everybody think they more. Stop talking about you a damn more, okay? You kill me with that shit. Everybody more now. Like, tell me how you said everybody's, Cherokee, Indian. Everybody's a more now. Like I said, everybody got high cheekbones. Everybody got some Indian in their family. They mixed.
Yeah.
Everybody's not a Moor. Please stop. Nothing wrong having self-pride and knowing who you are, but I mean, good God. Because some of them represent the Moors, right, correctly. Give a bad a bad representation of that identity,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I mean, if you don't have really no deep association with that, like, everybody can't label themselves a Moor.
True.
Yeah, we do.
People like to say it because I guess it sounds good for them.
Really good.
But really, when you can't follow back up with it,
you just talking.
It's just pointless.
Right. And
yeah.
Do you know any history about it? Like, right. You just putting the garb on your head, the hat, and you put the Moorish clothes on, and now you something. You don't know nothing else. You know some knowledge, but you don't know all of it. They're like saying you're from Africa, but you know nothing about Africa. Mm-hmm. Hell, you don't even practice it. Let alone talk about you from Africa. You don't practice none of the African traditions and the culture. You don't. Did you marry a African man? Did you marry an African woman? If you so African? No, your ass stuck here with a black woman or a black man. Ain't you? Right? Right, Jane?
Right.
They stuck here with either a black woman or a black man. Why have you not intermingled with a African woman or African man if you so African? Why do you not eat the food? I'm just challenging now. Because I mean, if you don't you supposed to be about that? I'm just saying, don't you supposed to represent that if you so African? Why are they not living over there if they're so African?
Well, a lot of people, they all like, yeah, I'm going to go move over there.
Yeah, right.
Because I want to feel I want to get in touch with my blackness, and I'm going to, really?
No. They only say that it sound good in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. You can sound right. And no, they ain't never going. They ain't ever going. So, yeah, like you said, we just got to know ourselves,
Yeah, I think that's
what it boils down to.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Ugh. Okay. Well, yeah. So cool. So yes, we had our fun, but it was serious. But we were serious too. So if you get into your little feelings, that's okay. Next time. Mm-hmm.
All I tell you is go do more on who you are.
Right.
That's all I'll say.
Please go do your research. Please just go do your research.
But you're right. We do need to have a show on the African talk and Indigenous Aborigines talk. I think that is well needed. But I'm not going to come with it. Because I'm going to come prepared, okay?
Oh, absolutely.
So we're going to have to take our time with this.
Yeah, that's a future show. Absolutely.
I've done a lot of reading and a lot of research and a lot of watching documentaries. But I want to come prepared. That's going to be, it's going to be a lot to cover.
Okay, so we are on our last topic, which is the history of slave rebellions. So that should be pretty cool and interesting as well. Again, we spoke on Corey and Tamara Gallaway. We spoke on the history of Black Wall Street. We talked about...
She did the last one.
We spoke about Paul Laurence Dunbar, and now we are on our last, which Uno is going to speak on, the history of slave rebellions. Yay! Woo, woo, woo! Trying to pump up my little fist. We're just being silly because we're tired too. Yeah, okay.
Had a long day at work.
Long day, not stressful.
On the plantation,
but
yeah, I mean that's what
it was a busy day. Yeah,
plantation. Yeah. Let's just be real, people. We on a plantation. Yeah, so it's quite a few I'm going to cover actually. So just bear with me, okay? Because I think we should know this anyway. But then, the most common one that people know is the Haitian Revolution. But there's others that is not talked about openly as it should needs more recognition so our people can know. And that could be, inspiring to them. The most successful slave rebellion in history, which is the Haitian Revolution, began as a slave revolt and ended with the founding of an independent state. The main insurrection started in 1791 in the valuable French colony of Saint-Domingue. Inspired in part by the egalitarian philosophy of the French Revolution, black slaves launched an organized rebellion, killing thousands of whites and burning sugar plantations en route to gaining control of the northern regions of Saint-Domingue. The unrest would continue until February 1794, when the French government officially abolished slavery in all its territories. The famed rebel General Toussaint Louverture then joined forces with French Republicans, and yes, I said it like that because I like talking like I'm British or French. Okay. So if I say it like that, you're like, what the hell? Yeah, I said it like that. All right. Anyway, General Toussaint Louverture then joined forces with French Republicans and by 1801 had established himself as governor of the island. But when Napoleon Bonaparte's imperial forces captured Louverture in 1802 and attempted to reinstate slavery, the former slaves took up arms once again. Led by Jean Jacques Dessalines. In 1803, they defeated French forces at the Battle of Versailles. The following year, the former slaves declared their independence and established the island as a new Republic of Haiti. News of the first successful rebellion, the only slave uprising in history to end with the foundation of a new country, went on to inspire countless other revolts throughout the United States and the Caribbean. And mind you, there were slave revolts even going that occurred before the Haitian Revolution. But in context of Haitian Revolution, what was left out of this is the spiritual part, and that's what I said in the show. That is our way out, is what I'm saying. Like, let's find all the things that we accomplished in this physical realm. Not to say we can't achieve it again, but why keep repeating something you already done? Should you be transitioning on to the next phase, right? Oops. I think that's logical. In life sense, like a sense of life, I think that's logical. But the Haitian Revolution, not necessarily one physically, it was the spiritual aspect of it. That they had the spiritual ancestors and spiritual forces guiding them through their battle, where they can move on to the next phase and establish themselves as a people, beings. And that's what the end goal should be. But this was definitely, again, the most successful slave rebellion of all time. And ever since then, them white folks been mad at Haiti. Ever since then. And look what's happening to Haiti now. Y'all, let's count back 10 years ago, and we can fast forward to now. They're still going through obstacles to this day. White people are still mad at that. Because they got conquered. Oh my God, those niggers conquered us. Those niggers conquered us. We got that. They really felt defeated. Like, they really is in their feelings. Then they pass it on to the next generation. Like, look, you gotta destroy Haiti. Like, they wake up every day trying to figure out how they gonna destroy Haiti. I'm serious.
Mm.
I mean, he's really upset about this. But, I mean, it's like, what did you expect? Like, no one's going to just keep getting badgered physically and emotionally and mentally and not, not for you to not strike back. Like, but again, that's that superiority complex, and you got to be in control every step of the way, every day, all day, 365, through the centuries, through the so it's, yeah, but I mean, this is what we need right now. Again, we need to control. In order to gain ourselves back, we need control again. And that's what, even in the context we're talking about, rebuilding the Black community, rather as on a social, political, spiritual, health level, all levels, economically, mentally. Like, we have to take control of that. So we have to be able to combat any opposition that comes our way and know how to deal with it. We need to have a Black community again, is what I'm saying. And this is what Haiti established, their community again. Because they had a plan, they had a strategy, and the biggest thing they counted was the spirituality, because I'm sure they had the old guns and the rituals. Who knows what those things had? Who knows?
But calling all the ancestors.
Just swooping them Europeans out of there. And that was it. And that's a hint, y'all. Did y'all not catch the message in Black Panther? Did you not catch the message? What did they deal with? They didn't deal with nothing that was religious, right? What was the premise of that Black Panther? What did they show on there that Black people seem to just overlook, that we need to tap into? That's what's going to come down to in the end. Spirituality.
The spirituality.
So yeah, definitely read into the Haitian Revolution, okay? It's a lot more to it than just a short, brief history of it. Okay, so another one is, let me see if this one. Okay, I'm gonna read this one. I believe. Okay, this is the one. All right, 1733 St. John Insurrection. One of the earliest slave revolts in North America saw a group of African slaves effectively conquer the Danish-owned island of St. John. At the time, most of St. John's slaves were part of the Akan, an African people from modern-day Ghana, plagued by widespread illness, droughts, and harsh slave codes. In November 1733, a group of high-ranking Akans began to plot against their Danish masters. The rebellion began when a group of slaves used smuggling weapons to kill several Danish soldiers inside a fort at a plantation called Cora Bay. Another 150 conspirators soon converged on the island's other plantations, killing several white colonists and eventually seizing command of most of St. John. The slaves planned to claim the island and its valuable farmland as their own, but their freedom was ultimately short-lived. After only 6 months of Akan rule, in May 1734, several hundred French troops arrived and violently put down the rebellion. It was not until 1848 that slavery was finally abolished in the Danish West Indies. Let's see, I want to read. All right. The Baptist War. While it started as a peaceful protest, Jamaica's Baptist War ended with a bloody uprising and the death of over 600 slaves. Inspired by abolitionist movements in Great Britain, on Christmas Day, 1831, as many as 60,000 of Jamaica's 300,000 slaves went on a general strike. Under the direction of a Baptist preacher and slave named Samuel Sharp, the bondsmen vowed not to return to work until they were awarded basic freedoms and a living wage. When the rumor spread that British colonists planned to break the strike by force, the protest turned into an outright rebellion. In what became the largest slave uprising in the history of the British West Indies, the slaves burned and looted plantations for several days, eventually causing 1.1 million in property damage. The human toll was much more severe. By the time the British colony army mobilized and put down the revolt, as many as 300 slaves and 14 whites had been killed. 300 more slaves, including the ringleader Sharp, were later hanged for their involvement in the uprising. While it may have been unsuccessful, the effects of the Baptist War eventually felt all the way across the Atlantic. Only 1 year later, the British Parliament would once and for all abolish slavery in the British Empire. Gaspar Yagna's Rebellion. Known as the first liberator of the Americas, Gaspar Yanga was an African slave who spent 4 decades establishing a free settlement in Mexico. Yanga's odyssey began in 1570 when he staged a revolt at a sugarcane plantation near Veracruz. After fleeing into the forest, Yanga and a small group of former slaves established their own colony, or Palenque, which they called San Lorenzo de los Negros. They would spend the next 40 years hiding in this outlaw community, surviving mostly through farming and occasional raids on Spanish supply convoys. Colonial authorities succeeded in destroying San Lorenzo de los Negros in 1609, but they were unable to capture Yanga's followers and eventually settled for a peace treaty with the former slaves. Now in his old age, Yanga negotiated the right to build his own free colony as long as it paid taxes to the Spanish crown. This municipality, the first official settlement of freed Africans in the Americas, was finally established in 1630 and still exists today under the name Yanga, which is Y-A-N-G-A.
Mm-hmm.
Got one more to read. What is this one? All right, let's see. Oh, that's the wrong one. All right, it's this one. Got one more to see I can find something that hasn't been talked about. Okay. Individuals now. Isaac Bergen. Bergen was just a kid when he decided to fight back. Bergen grew up on a North Carolina plantation where his mother, Sylvia, worked as a house slave. She took him along daily to the big house where he learned how to read and write from the white kids. Soon, his increasing education made his owners nervous, but he calmed their fears by using his brain for the good of the farm. Thanks to his smarts, Isaac became an influential figure on the plantation, getting perks other slaves didn't get. But Isaac's clout couldn't get his mother safe. When she angered the bosses, the overseer decided it was time for a beating. Isaac heard her screaming as the whip tore at her back and was suddenly faced with the biggest decision of his young life. Should he stay out of it or save her? The choice was simple. Isaac picked up a heavy iron poker, walked up behind the overseer, and caved in the back of his head. Nobody messed with his mom. After the overseer woke up with a splitting headache, Isaac received twice the beating his mother would have gotten. But Isaac survived and went on to live a happy, productive life. After the Civil War, Isaac earned a B.A., D.D., and LL.D., and became a pastor, teacher, and the president of Paul Quinn College in Waco, Texas. Then the known one that everybody knows, Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass is one of the most influential abolitionists of the 19th century, toured both the U.S. and Great Britain, speaking against slavery. He wrote a best-selling autobiography and served as a preacher, publisher, and politician. He met with Abraham Lincoln, promoted education, and championed equal rights for everyone. And when he was a teenager, he went toe-to-toe with one of the most meanest slave owners in the South. At 16, Douglass was rented out to Edward Covey, a notorious slave breaker who looked for any excuse to use his whip. He even hid in the grass to spy on the slaves in the hope he'd catch them taking a break. And when Douglass showed up, Covey planned on turning him into a mindless, obedient drone. He whipped Douglass at least once a week for the next 6 months, once beating him so hard that the stick he was using broke in half. Douglass didn't even have the time to heal from his wounds before Covey decided it was time for more punishment. And to Douglas's honor, he found Covey was crushing his spirit. Things changed though when Douglas saw a ship in Chesapeake Bay. Inspired by the ship's freedom, he vowed to become a free man. He tried running away to ask his old master for help, but the man just laughed and sent Douglas back to Covey, who was waiting. While Douglas was working in the barn one day, Covey sneaked up behind him with a rope, tying the teen's legs together. Suddenly, Douglas reached his breaking point. He tried to jump away, but Covey held on, taking Douglas to the floor. But when Douglas regained his footing, he grabbed Covey's throat and choked him so hard that the slave started to bleed. Covey was terrified. None of his slaves had ever fought back before. He called for help, and white servants showed up with a rope. When he tried to tie Douglas's free hand, Douglas landed a perfectly aimed kick into the man's ribs. When the second guy showed up and saw what was happening, he decided he wasn't getting paid enough and ran away. Desperate, Covey tried to reach a club outside the barn door, but Douglas grabbed him with both hands and hurled him to the ground, judo style. This battle between slave and racists went on for 2 brutal hours. Eventually, Douglas let Covey go, and Covey never touched him again. Douglas's victory fueled his desire to escape, and in 1938, he finally did, beginning a new fight against slave owners everywhere. Cherokee Slave Revolt. This happened in 1842. Not all slave owners were wealthy white guys sipping juleps on cotton plantations. In an effort to become like white Americans, the 5 civilized tribes, well, like you said, everybody's not Cherokee, so you have, they gave 5: Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, Seminole, and of course they have so many others, but those are the 5 civilized tribes, though. They became farmers, opened public schools, and started buying black people. After all, it was the American way. The Cherokees owned over 4,000 slaves and took 1,592 with them down the Trail of Tears. These slaves mostly belonged to mixed race Cherokees, but I mean, that's a whole nother history in itself, who employed them as interpreters, servants, and farmhands. But as it turns out, Cherokee farmers weren't any better than their white counterparts, so the slaves decided to fight back. On November 15, 1842, Joseph Van's slaves were up bright and early, planning to take advantage of their master's white ways. The Cherokees had given up their mud huts for log cabins and clapboard houses, and their new homes came equipped with doors. So while the Cherokees slept, the slaves locked them in their houses and then stole horses, guns, and supplies. Their plan was to meet up with a band of Creek slaves and head to Mexico, which was closer than Canada and just as slave-free. After the Cherokees finally broke down their doors, they organized a search party and caught up with caught up with the runaways on the open prairie. The slaves took shelter in a deep depression that provided cover from all sides and began firing at their pursuers. The gun battle lasted for 2 straight days before the Cherokees decided they needed backup and retreated. The slaves saddled up and continued south. Along the way, they rescued some Choctaw slaves from 2 bounty hunters, neither of whom would ever collect another bounty. Fortunately, the Cherokee National Council convened a meeting where they decided to send 87 members of the Cherokee militia after the slaves. When the soldiers caught up with the runaways, they found a sad sight. The slaves had run out of supplies and were starving and too exhausted to fight back. 5 were handed over to the military to stand trial for the murder of slave hunters, and the rest were forced into hard labor. 1811 Slave Rebellion. The last thing any racist wants to see is hundreds of armed slaves waving banners and beating drums while marching down the road, but that's what happened in January 1811 when Charles Deslones led the largest slave revolt in U.S. history. Sick of working on a Louisiana plantation, Deslones organized a massive rebellion, which was no easy feature. Over several years, he secretly communicated with slaves across the Louisiana coast, holding meetings in fields, taverns, and at slave gatherings. He also had to overcome massive language barriers because many of his fellow slaves had come straight from Africa and Haiti. But finally, on January 8, 1811, Deslones made his move. The slaves of the Woodland Plantation armed themselves with hoes, axes, and cane knives, hacked up their masters, and marched west, where they met with slaves from a second plantation, led by Ashanti warriors, no less. There were now 200 to 500 slaves on the warpath, but in every plantation they came across. And while they spared women and children, they made short work of the men. This was every Southerner's nightmare, and the roads to New Orleans were backed up for miles with whites running for their lives. The government sent the military to challenge Deslones, and since the slaves had few guns, they had to retreat. They didn't get far before they were trapped by a local militia. With nowhere to go, the slaves threw down, fighting valiantly with their farm tools, but in the end, they were simply outgunned. The slaves who didn't escape into the swamps were captured and executed. As he was a leader, Deslones' corpse was mutilated. A place to serve as a warning to any slave. Okay, so definitely read on that history of the ones I just mentioned. It's kind of a long article, so I'm not going to read any more on that, but just wanted to give you guys a few slave rebellions that happened through history concerning our people who did not want to be controlled or taken advantage of in any way, shape, or form. They wanted their freedom, they wanted their justice, and they wanted their equality. But it all boils down to we just have to support each other. That's what it comes down to. Love each other, love yourself, love each other, know who you are. Spread knowledge is power, each one teach one. And once we come together and we're able to help, support, and build, no one has the control no more. That's what it comes down to. And to me, that's what Black history is about, man. Just controlling the narrative, like, and why does Black history have to be in 1 month? We should have control of that 365 all year long. So let's always give homage and respect and praise to the ones who paved the way before us, who sacrificed a lot for us to be here now. So, we should always be studying and reading and doing something to affect our community in a positive way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Anything you'd like to add or touch on what I read?
No.
I was enjoying that. When I saw them rebellions, I was enjoying that.
No, in a good way. I mean, I was just really, just really listening to all, like you just said. I mean, there's really, there's no really need to follow up with that. We should pay homage and love and support and know ourselves and know our worths and all of that good stuff, because it's important. I mean, because we're in a spiritual warfare right now. Every day I've been going to work, all I hear is someone died, someone transitioned. Someone transitioned. Just this morning when I went to work, even though he is not in our community, however, still he transitioned. He was a decent guy. He spoke. He was friendly. But I'm just saying, overall, people are just leaving. They are transitioning, and so I personally don't have any time to waste on anyone, as I wouldn't want them to waste time on me. I'm about wanting to build with positive, like-minded people. Okay, so if that is not you, then I'm not going to be offended by it. It's just we don't need to communicate.
No, just move out the way.
We don't need to communicate. And let me just say, this is totally off the topic, but I want to put it out there anyway. I spoke to Uno about this earlier before we came on. You know, my heart is good and I mean good when I want to do, potential business or investment opportunities, because I am that type of chick that wants to have multiple streams of income as well as give back, because I feel like my blessings I will be blessed quadruple times, because it's not for me to just take in all and don't give back, right? I believe in volunteering. I believe in a service, and I don't have to publicize it all on social media and things like that. I mean, if you do, you do, but I have to, at the end of the day, I have to focus on what I already have and build on that. So, any MLM or network marketing that I could have, should have been in or tried, I no longer choose to want to do that, because it's, at the end of the day, regardless if I paid into it or signed up for free, it's not my niche. And I don't knock it. Whoever can do great in MLM, my hat's off to you. Whoever can do great in network marketing, MLM, like I said, great, kudos to you. I'm not here to say negative things. I have my own personal views, but I need to follow the path of Chit Chat Chew, okay, because it's real. It's a legitimate business. We are marked in everything, okay? And I need to focus on my public speaking or motivational speaking and other avenues that I am pursuing.
Yeah, that you're involved in. Right.
And involved in. Right. So if I've offended anyone in the past and you're like, oh, your upline is going to be okay. It will be okay without me. And that's not coming from a mean place. That's coming from a true, authentic, genuine, real place.
You're just in a cool space.
I'm in such a different place in my life. And again, hey, you go through trial and errors. Some things you may start off with, and it's like, oh, okay, I think I can. And really it's like, okay, I can't, and that's okay. Be okay about it. Mm-hmm. But don't put aside something else that you've been working really hard for. So, well wishes to anybody who I've been a part of, even for a brief moment or for a little while. I wish well wishes to everyone, okay? And hopefully I'll get that back. If not, I'm still going to be okay at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. I'm very transparent, okay? So this Black History Month, or this Black History, let me say that, this Black History 365, we do this all the time. We put out Black History.
We highlighted
365.
Way before. Oh, you good? Way before February.
Way before February. So this is something that we do all the time. All the time.
Pretty frequent.
So stop once in a while to just kind of put somebody out on your timeline. Educate other people. Educate yourself. Just put us out there. Support us more. We
need to have a show on Black businesses, like just start like highlighting some Black business names and putting the information out there for people to support.
Absolutely.
I think we should have a show just on that. That's it.
Absolutely.
There's so many out there that we can cover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can definitely do that. If you're a Black-owned business, definitely put yourself out here on our timeline.
Right.
If you want us to share.
I want to comprise a list.
Oh, that's cool.
And we can
yeah,
discuss
we
it
can.
on our show. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, still, like, if they put something out here,
absolutely.
We can, we can add you onto that list and
talk about it.
Talk about it, promote you. Like, talk about it. That's
absolutely.
Definitely.
You might need to do that for February. I mean, why not?
Okay.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Absolutely. So, with that being said, I'm very that this was a good show, as I like them all. I love them all. But I always like our history. I do. I always like when we talk about our history because it's very necessary. Schools need to incorporate, even though we know that the typical schools will not. These are the things that need to be educated in our school systems. More of our history. Nothing wrong with the standard that they're taught, but there's such a wealth of other.
A lot of that is convoluted,
right?
Even what they put in the books is convoluted.
Talk about this with your family, with your children.
Right.
Just talk about it. Have that conversation.
Then again, we can't depend on the schools because the school system, that's not their responsibility.
It's not their responsibilities, but I know
it's like why would they go against something that goes against their nature?
Right.
That's just sensible to me. If I were white, why would I want to teach black history? So I'm just saying, I'm being real.
Right.
Why would I want to teach something that's gonna not be beneficial to my people? Okay.
And I get that.
Right.
Where I was coming from was a place of these schools that are out here, whether it's homeschool, whether, our black and brown brothers and sisters do the homeschooling.
Oh, absolutely.
It should definitely be taught with that.
I'm saying. We need to start our school.
Right. And these black charter schools need to make sure that they're putting out a wealth of information. These scholars or whomever are out here talking about, our children are our future. Well, let's do that. Let's educate them more. I'm all for sports. I'm and all that, but history is so important.
Yeah. We gotta get beyond just entertainment.
Right.
I hate to tell you, but yeah. We more than just entertainment. That's true. We have to know history.
Absolutely.
It's so much. There's so much to cover.
So we're done. Are we done?
I ain't done.
Okay, if you're not done,
I'm not done, ma'am.
Oh, okay. All right.
I sound
so
fruity.
Fruity.
No, I'm done. No, we just give out our social media and that be it for the night.
So thank you guys. We're at the end of our podcast show. We thank you again. Thank you in advance for listening to the replay once we're done.
Look at that.
Yes. Tune in. Oh, social media. Social medias, you can reach us, especially on Facebook. Chit Chat Chew Show, LLC. Again, Chit Chat Chew Show, LLC. Make sure you go and like it so you can stay updated to tune into future shows. So go back, replay the past shows. Go to our Facebook group. Really, go to our Facebook group where you can join us at Chit Chat Chew Show Podcast Group. Chit Chat Chew Show Podcast Group for our LGBTQ and ally group. You can reach us. Wow. You can like us at Lotus Monk. You can just type in Lotus Monk and like us. Okay. Wow. Okay. Also, what else? We are on LinkedIn. Go to our LinkedIn and search in Chit Chat Chew. You're going to find us. Nobody else is like us. Chit Chat Chew Show on LinkedIn. Wow, you are cutting up, aren't you?
You're not getting a kick out of it.
I am, but I'm trying to keep it cute. So that's Facebook.
Can't keep people on there.
I know. That's Facebook. That is LinkedIn. What you have? You have Twitter.
The website.
What is the website? Because I'm so used to it being one way.
Ooh, it should be. What?
It still should be Chit Chat Chew Show.
I'll tell you what. Just go search Chit Chat Chew Show. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not hard to find us. Okay.
That website. Yeah.
Our website. Chit Chat Chew Show.
Absolutely. So.
And I would say the
YouTube.
I was gonna say YouTube.
Okay. I was gonna do those there. Hello. You always do those.
Oh, so you want to do all the songs?
No, I don't.
No, that's not how you feel. Go ahead.
That's not what I said. I said, shut up, whatever. Because I'll keep it cute and be like, on Instagram, find us at Chit Chat 2 Show. You cannot miss us.
Say it all.
On Twitter, you cannot miss us with Chit Chat 2 Show. Okay? And with our YouTube channel, make sure to hit the thumbnail to subscribe and hit the notification. Chit Chat 2 Show podcast. Hit that thumbnail to subscribe, as well as hit that notification bell for all alerts.
I want to say with Twitter though,
go ahead.
It's abbreviated, so CCCS_podcast. That's all I want to say. At CCCS_podcast.
Okay, do Instagram too.
Chit Chat 2 Show podcast for Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Really, she just gave a little attitude. That's all that.
No, I didn't.
Wow.
No, I didn't.
Instagram. Oh, but hey, okay, let me go ahead and say it.
Whatever.
I don't want to come to work with no black guy.
Oh, God.
Did they your fucking hands to do Instagram?
Really? Calm down. Calm down. Stop.
She beat me up, y'all.
Really? Really? That's not cute to say that on Facebook.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. She does not beat me up. I just like to talk myself. So Instagram, Chit Chat 2 Show podcast. Oh, I like to give an update, people, because I want you to be in the know of this. I don't want you to be in the dark. We don't have Vimeo no more, and we do not have what was it? Oh, SoundCloud. So we don't have SoundCloud no more or Vimeo. So do not be trying to look for us on there. We don't have those anymore. We got rid of those. We're just sticking to the main ones that we use. All right. So Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook,
LinkedIn,
and LinkedIn. Keep it simple. All right.
So let me put my shameless plug in. So I, as you know, or if you don't know, I have my own podcast platform on Facebook. Okay, it's called Aisha Speaks Jade. Okay, and I will be having a guest on Wednesday, February the 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Her name is Odetta King. Odetta King. She will be on my show.
All right, Odetta King.
Odetta King. Wednesday, February the 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. She is the swap queen / coin strategist and so much more. She's going to let us know what that's all about. Plus the so much more. Again, it's going to be on Zoom. I will put the flyer out again.
Follow the link.
Follow the link. But if you need it, so you can go to zoom.us, zoom.us, which is zoom.us.
But they're supposed to follow that link to go.
And you can follow the link, which will.
But you'll plug it in.
I'm going to plug it in all on social media. So make sure that you follow it. It has the flyer and the information. Please, I mean no harm when I say this. We have revised this flyer about 3 times. And so if you cannot comprehend or read it, please get someone to help you. It has everything on there, the time and the date, the person.
You can't get this confused. Come on.
The social media that she has, and the log on link on Zoom. This is not being funny or smart. Please do not reach out. I'm telling you.
Ask stupid questions.
That's exactly what it is. Ask the questions that are already on here, because I will not respond to you. That's not being real. That's not being mean.
Yeah, you're not.
It's not being rude. That is being very transparent and honest with you people. It is on this flyer. Do not do that to me or us. Okay. So again, Wednesday, February the 13th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My guest is Odetta King, swap queen coin strategist.
Swap king coin strategist.
I will put it on social media. So thanks, guys, so much. Make sure to like Aisha Speaks Jade Facebook page.
Go follow her page. Please go follow her page. Support what she got going on, please.
We thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We really do. We've been running our mouths. So Yes, running not yip.
You gotta say it like you
running not yip. So make sure that you listen to all of the replays and tune in every Monday.
Absolutely.
Self-care, self-love, self-respect, and know your self-worth. Okay?
You only got one life. Cherish that. Cherish you. And cherish those around you. Be safe, people. Good night. Peace and blessings.
Namaste and Ashe.
Ashe.